just for this very moment, I felt a little free time to come on here and talk to you all a while. And it just so happens, scrap after scrap is coming my way, and more of them are coming up. We kind of need to use them all up, and there were some that I probably demonstrated to you on a video a while back how I saw these out, but these are little pieces of mahogany that when a scrap came out a certain way, I decided to make the other one like it, but they came out in a good shape that would make a good dragon. So I decided to kind of draw lines into them so that that's the way they'd be, and decided for now I might come on here just to talk to you all while I demonstrate a little bit how I carve these little dragon scraps out of mahogany. And so we've made some cuts here, come along on them just fine, and sometimes with me I just kind of do things by memory, do it from head, and just kind of make it so with the way it'll come out right, just kind of put the work in things. So it's just hard to really put down any instructions on how to do certain things, because I practice to the point that I just get it all down right. Been really busy today. I've been cleaning carpets for my parents, and I've been getting paid to do that, so that's just one of those things where, since I've had these 2 weekends off from doing craft shows, I've kind of just stayed busy enough just to keep myself paid enough, and that's kind of the way little work here and there has to go. So I've already cut around the ears of these things. There comes a point where I think I'm going to now come down to carving out the area for the horns. You could probably see I've kind of carved the little curve in there, and gonna do it for the other horn as well. And this is how sometimes I think this other one from the direction it had to be carved kind of didn't come out quite the same, the left from the right, and so I sort of had to make the cut again just to try to make them about how they needed to equally be. So we've got little work to come this way, make it so it's gonna shine itself down to us and lighten a little day in us. I say it's going to kind of look like the horns are coming out of the front of the head here, so we kind of got to make a little line right here to make the side of the face, and cut a little ways along that. I'm thinking when I get down to it, might get around to doing the other side as well. I say we kind of take it so a little work comes a longer way, and try to match it all up right. We kind of got little places to go in here, and we're going to take care of that as we go. And so this is the little ways we're we're going to make it to be. See how we kind of got the horn coming out of the head there? We're going to try to take it the same way on this other one too, and try to make it so that the horns come out good and even. That's just the way I think that the little horns will need to be once we get right down into it. And just for a little work to take us down a little ways, make it so we see light, easy steps being taken along into the work, and finally get it so we can come straight on down to it. Oh, come on. Little work shall drive its way into us. And this is how we come up with the front of the head as this one as well. I'd say yes, we probably got them about where they ought to be. So that's how it'll be coming along here. We're going to be able to finish this along. Finally, just work along the front of the heads of these guys. Probably make it so perhaps there's a little curve between the horn and the forehead. And so that's how we got that to come out. And we're going to kind of make the same little curve along here as well. Make it so it's going to be nice and easy. It'll be a lot of work. And I've decided that even if it comes down to us only having one horn on the dragon, that'll be just as okay. That'll be just as good. Because there's going to be some work that shall come along in this little way and kind of take it so we see that it is going to be super cool and super cute in the end. I think we will kind of take off little edges here to kind of make some little horns here. I say that there's a little place here where we go. We're gonna kind of make a little place between the horns here, but you got to be very careful about doing this, because if you're not, you might cause the horns to break. So we've made one little swift cut down the middle, and I say, kinda draw little lines in here, carve it together so it'll have just a little point down the middle of the head between the two horns. And so once it all comes out, we're going to have a good little dragon here that's going to stand on its own and be a little place for us to go. I say we kind of got to move along here, and there's a place here where we're going to carve along the backs of the horns to kind of make them so they're as curved as they can be. But there is kind of a little place in the back of the head behind the horns. I think we're going to leave that as it is, because it would just be a lot of extra work to carve down into that. I think we're going to separate the little horns on this one as well. Take it so the dragon will be with its own horns, having a little cut down the middle and a little cut in between. So this is how he's going to come out to be. We got to make a little cut to the back of the horn, little curvy slide. That's a little bit of a diagonal cut there, but you'll see these horns, they came out a little bit different from the horns on the other one, but it seems like we're getting along with this, making it so it's going to be just the same as it needs to be, to come up with little cuts, little lines, and oh, the little V's and valleys down the middle, and finally get the cut in there and make it just come out exactly like it needs to be. So you see, this is where we got the horns to come in here. We gotta work along this line and see how it's going to go, and I say finally come up with what we made out to be the nose here. We're going to take the same little step, make the nose come along the same little lines here, and so as for how this will be, we got a little work to dive into this, and so it's all gonna come out so we see that we're making the face just as it ought to be. So it's all going to come down to us having a flatter little nosy here and a better face. Now there's going to come a time when we're going to carve along here, carve these little lines out to make the insides of the ears here, and so this is how we're going to come up with this when it all just comes down, right down to it. And you know, it might be a little difficult to try to make the ears out in the back, so we can kind of just leave that as it is, I think, and I'm thinking that we will. This is kind of something I'm just getting around to doing just now, and sometimes even for the first time I do something with a scrap, I'll get on video and do it just to kind of demonstrate the kinds of steps I know how to take. I'd say we're going to come down to the back of the neck here. Make it so we're going to make the lines come out like as good as they need to be. Make a little curvy neck, and so the back of the dragon is going to look just like this. And so even with that little knot in the back of the head, it's all going to be good. So perhaps sometimes their ears are that way, and so we can kind of make that little line out. And so down to it, we've kind of got to make the little lines come in the back, and so little lines shall make their way to us and show us all a little good here and there as to how things are just going to be. And so this is a moment when we might make a video a little longer, just to kind of go about the steps on how we're doing these little things. And so I'm just kind of, as of right now, and maybe there does turn out to be a thing to do back here. I didn't realize there was, but turns out we're getting down to that, you know. And so as for that little bit of work, we seem to have pointed the ears on this one and pointed the ears on this one as well. I'm gonna carve down the back of the neck and the back of the body on this one, just to see how further along we can get with it. And so as for the work and the way it's coming along, it's going to take us a longer way. The longer we do it, the better it'll be, the better it'll come, the better it'll come out. So that's why I suggest you kind of take your time. Don't go too fast about what you do, and kind of make it so the body and tail are coming a little certain way. And to see a little work come this way to us, it's such a fascinating way to take it now. And so this little time in my life, we're going to take care of this little thing and see how the dragon shell make its way to us. I'd say there's probably going to be a few other places to go here to make it so it's all going to come out for the good, for the better. And as for the back of the body and the back of the neck, I say it's just going to be little things we're going to do and see. As for what we know, the people can say the strangest things they want to about my work, but I will still go about it. This is the kind of thing where I get my pleasure in life. I do want to say that probably made it long enough for a video here. Do think we're gonna stop it right here and kind of continue on the next one. But definitely, as for right now, we've got some chips here to scoot off into the pan. So that's going to be what it's going to be for now. And I'll come back in the next video to do a little bit extra more work on these mahogany dragons. Thank you for watching. Take care.